You're in a funk, spiralling out of control and have no idea how to get yourself back on track.
In this episode, we talk about the importance of routine in regaining control and self-confidence so you can feel more connected, aligned, and excited about life again.
Hi, I'm James Davis.
And I'm Claire Davis.
We're the Midlife Mentors, here to lift the lid on how to achieve health and happiness.
The balanced, no-nonsense way.
Hello and welcome to the Midlife Mentors with Claire and James.
Hello everyone, how you doing? Long time no speak.
It's been a while and apologies for that.
We keep apologising each one.
Life got in the way. We've had a crazy few weeks, but we have committed now. We're going to talk today all about, by the way, routine. And one of the routines we're establishing is to do a podcast now every week going forward. So you can expect more of us.
No, I think if you listen to the last one, we might have said that at the beginning of the last one. So apologies. In fact, I'm 100% sure we said that at the beginning of the last one. But we actually, we are settling down into a new world, which we're going to talk to you about. And we are fully committed to giving you our heart and soul in our podcast once a week, aren't we, Mr. D?
We definitely are. So let us tell you what's been going on for us. So I think the last time we spoke to you, we were coming from London.
For sure.
And since then, we've flown back to Ibiza to pack up our long-term home there.
That was our world, really.
For good.
That was our home.
And then we've had to come back and isolate in the UK, wait for our stuff to arrive and go into storage, and then we've driven the long way round, believe it or not, through the Channel Tunnel down to the south of France and all along the coast to Marbella.
I do have to point out, it's a bone of contention. James did the packing amazingly well in Ibiza. I was really impressed. Like, he put all the names on all the boxes of everything. However, when they got to storage, he just threw them all in. So any of the ones that were supposed to come to Marbella didn't come, did they, darling?
Well, I think we had 3 marks for Marbella and we found 2. So, 2 out of 3.
It's only the most important one that wasn't there.
So we're coming to you live. This is your privilege. This is our first podcast from our new home in Marbella.
Marbs.
So we are in an apartment overlooking the sea. We're straight out of our door onto the beach, and we're talking about routines. One thing we've established here from the very first moment we arrived was getting in the sea every day. Yeah.
So just before we talk about the whole routine thing, like we always say, if you've listened to any of our other podcasts, if you haven't, welcome. But we always say you can't be comfortable and grow. And one of the things that we've really shared, even in the last week, we've been here a week and a day. One of the things that we always say is if you want to grow, you've got to be uncomfortable. So we've really put ourselves in the situation where we know the area fairly well. It's down the road from where we run our luxury retreats at Punta Romano in Marbella. So we know it's fairly well, but other than that, not at all. And so we're really trying to settle in here into our world and our routine. Because when we're out of our crazy routine, what helps? Building a routine.
Building routines. We're going to talk to you about that because we know for many of us now, it is a crazy world. There's a stack of uncertainty. Right? It's getting crazier. Stack of uncertainty. COVID is still raging. Depending on where you are in the world, it's having different effects in terms of lockdowns, restrictions, stuff being lifted, stuff being put back in place. I mean, what is for sure is probably the world as we knew it March?
My goodness.
It's kind of gone away for the foreseeable future.
Most of 2020 now. It's crazy. Someone told us the other day that we're just over 2 months away from Christmas, which is...
Yeah, I think we're about 9 weeks away now.
9 weeks away. What?
Yeah.
Sorry to put that to you.
So there's a lot going on out there in our external world. So, there's the stuff we don't have control over. It's all very uncertain. But also, for many of us, just like at a personal level, our daily routines have gone. We're probably not going to our jobs, or if we are going, they've changed significantly. So we're dealing with a whole lot of uncertainty. Now, here's the thing. As humans, we're hardwired for certainty.
We like it, don't we?
It doesn't really exist, but we love to have a perception of certainty in our lives. Well, it doesn't exist. Life is very uncertain, but we love to have a perception of certainty and of routine. It's like an evolutionary hardwiring for our survival.
I think the most certain we can be is that everything is uncertain. I think the last few months has really shown that. So actually having a routine put in place is one of the things that we talk to our clients about a lot. And just actually James saying about work, it's not just that. It's like, for so many people, they think that their children have gone back to school. We've talked to so many of our clients about this. Their children might have gone back to school. Then because one of their class members has got COVID, they're back off school. So it is a constant shifting sand, isn't it?
Really, really is. And just changing all the time. And when that happens, it'd be really easy to let everything else in your life slide. And certainly, we've experienced that. We were like in a routine in London, on top of things. And then we had to go and stay somewhere else for a bit, then fly to Ibiza,
it's
pack
really
everything
unsettling.
out there. So we've had about six weeks of being out of routine on the road. And of course, we've noticed that a lot of other stuff has slid, but we're practicing self-compassion with that. If you're on the road and you're driving for 9 hours a day, I don't recommend it. But of course, you haven't got time to do all your normal tasks and workouts and stuff.
Yeah, it has been really unsettling, guys. It really has. Like we've I think it's a lack of control in your life and a lack of steering your ship. And as James said, like we are hardwired to want that certainty of what we're doing and when we're doing it. And that creates that kind of structure in our world. So we've really, really experienced the unsettling of that structure. And we really wanted to speak to you about it. Like, obviously, what happens is, for me personally, my motivation has dipped. So people look at us and go, you must always be motivated to do this, that, and the other. We talk about our mindset reps that we do, our emotional reps, spiritually. Not to mention, obviously, the physical side of what we do in our job, but also what we love, like going to the gym and all that sort of stuff. And I'll put my hands up, and I know James will admit this, I really lost my mojo, really lost my motivation.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough. Once you drop out the habit of doing things, it's really easy to let them go and let them slide, like scarily quickly, isn't it?
Yeah, and you lose connection to your purpose a little bit, for sure. Out of momentum with your work, especially if you're an entrepreneur. Even if you're not, but that kind of like momentum that you need to keep going as an entrepreneur to build your baby, you lose a bit of connection to that, and a bit of self-sabotage, a little bit of anxiety.
I mean, it's so common. I mean, we speak to so many clients who come on board to work with us, and they're talking about, they're at home, they're either working from home or they've been furloughed. So, their old routine might have been, at 6 a.m. the alarm goes off, they're up, they have a shower, they're in, and now it's like, the alarm kind of goes off around 8:30, I'll have a cup of tea, I'll watch some telly for a bit, then I'll answer some emails. It's a challenging time.
Yeah, and it can spiral out of control.
And this is the other flip side. So many people that come to us like, I do feel like I've lost control of aspects of my life. My weight's gone up. Yeah. I'm not feeling confident about my body. Obviously, they're not doing their normal jobs. They've lost their kind of like role esteem and confidence that comes from doing what they love.
That's another side, James, actually, that I've completely forgotten about. It's that self-esteem and the definition of who they are going into the work environment. Also not having, just literally sitting at their desk all day. You're not even walking potentially to your work, even if it was a 5-minute, getting outside, getting some vitamin D, getting in nature, whatever it was, has all gone. So we are seeing this a lot. It's why we're thankfully incredibly busy doing what we're doing, because we are like really, really, really passionate about helping people understand that they're not alone, that this is really, really normal, that actually because the world has shifted so much, people are finding it really, really difficult to know where to start to get themselves out of a funk.
Now, if you listen to our podcast, you'll know we always come up with actionable tips and plans. So we've got that for you. But that's the first thing actually is not on our list here. Is like practice a bit of self-compassion. You know, it's all right. It's really overused now, but these are extraordinary times. We're not going to hopefully live through something like this again, but they are unprecedented. So cut yourself a little slack on dealing with it. Practice self-compassion would be the first tip. And now we'll go on to the main tips, which is, of course, as human beings, we want a feeling of certainty, a perception, an illusion of routine. So start building it out for yourself. And the way to that, the first thing we do is start planning goals for your month. And by that I mean not only like, obviously you probably have work goals anyway if you're working, but set some personal goals. You know, do you want to get to a certain level of fitness? Is there a book you want to read, a book you want to write? But also plan fun stuff, because this can slide as well, right? We can all be like, oh, you know, I will go out for dinner one day. Get it in, diarise it, make it happen.
Yeah, and also, like, our brain cannot fathom when we've got really big goals. We've done this on the goals one, go back to the goals one. But when we set these goals, don't make them too lofty and too unrealistic. Do remember that SMART acronym. Try and make them specific and timely, but don't overload yourself, okay? Break them down into weekly tasks. And another little top tip there is just a couple of tasks, 2 or 3 tasks that take you towards your goal every week. Don't overload yourself, because that is how most people end up failing.
Yeah, so what we'll do, towards the end of every month, we'll kind of look at the month ahead, kind of like evaluate where we're at and where we want to go. And not only from a work perspective and working with clients, but, you know, what we want to get from our fitness routines, what we want our nutrition to be like, what we want to do, like going out, what we want to do in terms of new experiences, which we're going to have loads exploring a new area.
I know.
So do plan all that out. That's kind of like your long-term view. And I think, you know, to keep things safe, I wouldn't look any further ahead than 3 months at the moment, but I just solidly plan 1 month ahead in like quite broad detail.
The other one is to make sure that you have a routine as soon as you get up in your day, isn't it? Now, this is
a massive one.
This is massive. James will chip in as well with some of his ideas and suggestions. But, you know, we teach this stuff. This is a game changer for our clients. It's a game changer for us when we first started doing it years ago. Get up at the same time, guys. Set that routine. Get up at the same time. Another thing, don't press snooze. Get up at the same time, do the same things. It builds that sense of intention and security at the beginning of your day. So, for example, getting up and doing that gratitude list. We're going to go into a few more details here. But getting up, doing those things, even down to making your bed.
Exactly.
So, there was, I can't remember, there was someone...
an admiral, I think
admiral,
it was.
That was the word. Over in, I'm so tired at the moment. Those long drives absolutely kill me for weeks. He basically said that the best way to start your day is with that routine, and it starts. Your power is in how you start your day, and making your bed is his first top tip. And it's really, really true. You've got that sense of pride, right? I do this all the time, and it really feels... I'm a Virgo anyway, so I love neat and tidiness. But it really still fills you with a sense... If you've got a messy bed, as soon as you get out of it, guess what? Your day's going to be messy.
Yeah, I mean, I'd echo that. What you want to do, in fact, is kind of ritualise your morning. So, like I said, get up at the same time, do the same things, whether that's like you get out of bed, you go and make the coffee, you come back to the bed, you do your gratitude list, do your affirmations.
Have a water, splash your face.
Up, you make the bed. Just bed that in and make it consistent, make it a ritual, because you're basically establishing control over the start of the day and grounding yourself.
Obviously, we know, we would say this, exercise really, really helps. It's, all the research around helping with depression, anxiety, obviously, increasing those happy hormones. So again, you're setting yourself off on a really, really good foot for the rest of the day. And it doesn't need to take long. You know, this is stuff we teach clients again. It's like 15 to 20 minutes. Get up in the morning. And that is about building routine and structure as well.
Totally. And schedule it in like you do everything else for your week, for your month.
And it becomes a lifestyle in the end. You know, a lot of people think, it's really, really hard to do. Any of these rituals and any of these structures are difficult at the beginning, but just stick with it. The exercise thing is one that will change your life, I promise.
The other one that will change your life is first thing in the morning, do your affirmations or your gratitude or a mix of the two, or if you're into it, meditating. I know it doesn't work for everyone. I have to be moving to meditate, so mine is like a Saturday run, but Claire and I will religiously do our affirmations and gratitude first thing in the morning. And listen, especially with what's going on in the world, maybe you want to do this before you turn on any outside interference, any external sources. So no jumping on the phone, no looking at the news feed, no putting on the radio, no putting on the TV. You want to ground yourself. A really nice one, when we say this one all the time, is just reflect on 3 things you're grateful for from yesterday. 3 things you're generally grateful for, and then a bonus we're saying what could be great about today. So you're kind of like setting an intention for the day as well. Yeah,
it's really important not to give your power away. So grounding yourself, like James said, don't give your power away to any other things. And also it's really, really important to try and do this as early as you can, as soon as your eyes are open. I'm like a sloth. I walk to, James always says I'm like a sloth because I literally...
You were this morning, you were terrible.
Awful. I mean, like I'm a mix...
see your eyes.
A mixture between a pufferfish and a sloth, basically, until I've had 2 cups of coffee in the morning. But after that, after I put the coffee on, because that's my thing I do, your mind is primed. It's a theta state. It's coming out of dream.
Like a sponge.
It is. It's coming out of sleep state. Moving into conscious state is called a theta state, and your mind is primed for suggestion. So really visualize, do those affirmations, really get yourself set up for the day in the best possible way.
Okay, next I'm going to kind of combine together, which again is just about establishing routine. Like, try and eat at the same time each day. So, you've got your morning routine that will include your breakfast. Try and set your lunch for around the same time. Try and set your dinner for the same time. It's about basically reinforcing to your subconscious that things are happening at the same time every day. And going hand in hand with that is... Listen, when we're uncertain and we get stressed, we tend to sleep less well. That can mean we'll end up just staying up late. Go to bed at the same time every day. Try and go to bed at the same time every day. So, have dinner at the same time, then go to bed at the same time. And again, before you go to bed, turn off all that outside noise. So you're going to bed with a calm mind.
Also, the final one really, just around some of our little hints and tips specifically for you, is celebrate the wins and don't get hung up on any of the things that you don't feel like you've accomplished. Listen, it's really, really hard to do that. We are in a world where it's really easy to compare ourselves, compare our lives. We're seeing the highlight reels of people's lives constantly, right? It is not important what everyone else is doing with their lives. Celebrate the wins that mean the most to you. Look at what is important to you and don't get hung up on the things that you haven't done yet, because you'll just be in a constant state of not being happy, of always thinking you'll be happy when. So that's just one of our final ones there. And we're still learning this. We'll set our goals and then we're like, oh, we missed that by quite a long way. But rather than get despondent about it or think of that as a failure, we're like, okay, well, there was a learning there that something wasn't missing in the process for that, or we weren't really realistic when we set it. So then we'll just go back and we'll use that feedback for setting up the next set of goals to make sure that they are realistic and we can achieve them. Yeah, and also realise that success isn't just about the things that you have in your life in the sense of material things. Like celebrate the wins of, your health, those things that a lot of people take for granted. Celebrate those as well, the joy that you have, the love you have in your life. And don't always be looking outside yourself, is what we would say, for gratification and valuation of how successful you are. We are successful by who we are on the inside.
That is true. So it's interesting. We have a lot of people go through our midlife method transformational program, and one of the things they feed back to us all the time is that
totally
the scheduling, because it's all delivered in an app. The scheduling and the accountability are what is keeping them on track, but also helping them so much in these times. They're like, I just get up and I look at that and I know what I've got to do to feel great, and I just go and I do it. And they also know that I'm accountable not only to Claire and I, but to the other people in the group going through the program as well. So our last session, kind of tying in with that, is like build connections with like-minded people so you can support each other, because we're social animals as well, and it can be all too easy to be locked. We're locked in our household bubbles and all the rest of it, but with the technology we have, there are so many ways to reach out and connect with people. So do that.
Yeah, and James and I do that. We have coaches, so we're not just we don't just kind of bleat on about having people support you in your world. We have that as well. We need to stay accountable in order to keep growing, support from people and build those connections too. So that's why we do these podcasts as well, right? Is to build connections with you and make you feel like you're understood and never alone.
And more of you are sending in lovely messages for us. We've had some really emotional ones recently.
I had one today.
So, thank you so much, you listeners that are just dropping notes to us. We really, really do appreciate it.
We really do. So, as a summary, in uncertain times, build routines that work for you, because actually what you're looking is for that element of safety. You know, your subconscious mind always wants to feel safe and kind of in control of things. And to a degree, as we said right at the beginning, the most certain thing is that the world is pretty uncertain, and the only way you can control things is you can only control your reaction to things, basically. So let's control the things and have focus on the things that we can make work for us right now, which is creating a routine and a structure and a schedule for yourself in uncertain times.
We love to hear from you. I'd love to hear, if examples of routines you're setting up off the back of this. And of course, if you think you know anyone that would benefit from this, please do tell them, share the podcast. And as always, we'd love to hear from you.
I'm just going to share one more little nugget. What we do, in our Facebook, we've got the Midlife Mentors Community Facebook group. In the notes for these podcast episodes, I'm going to put the link in there. And the reason I'm saying this particularly today, this will be going out. We're actually going to be running a 5-day reset challenge for midlifers. We all know that you probably need a good old reset right now, and we're here to give you easy to implement strategies for your mind, body and soul. It's a completely free 5-day reset challenge that we're going to start next Monday the 19th of October, but we do run them, we will be running them regularly, and there's loads. You don't want to miss that group. It's growing and growing. There's loads of like-minded people in there, and we just drop really, really high-level, valuable content in there a lot. And that's it, really. So
yeah, we'd love to see you in there. I'm wishing you all an amazing day, evening, whatever time of day it is, and take care.
Thank you so much. Sending lots of love. Mwah.
Yeah. You've been listening to the Midlife Mentors with Claire and James Davis.
We'd love to hear from you. So drop us a line at info@themidlifementors.com with any questions or topic suggestions.
And make sure you join us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can find us under The Midlife Mentors. Yeah.